Whoa, this week on the Barely Stable podcast, we're going to talk about the weekend recap, and
we're here with local pro and TD, Nate Tucker.
That's me.
We're also going to talk course maintenance and have a ratings day update.
All that and more on this episode of the Barely Stable podcast. Stay with us.
welcome to Barely Stable, an intermediate level podcast.
Hosted by Daniel Freeberg and Nick Barr. Produced by Daniel Rigdon, studio engineer Trevor Williamson. A cool disc golf podcast for intermediate players. This is the Barely Stable Podcast.
Live from beautiful Austin, Texas, this is the Barely Stable Podcast. We're ready to BS. Here are your Barely Stable hosts, Daniel Freeberg and Nick Barr.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Barely Stable Podcast, episode 15, and we're here with another good one. With me, as always, Mr. Daniel Freeberg.
What's up, everybody? Barely Stable Podcast. I'm so psyched that we made it through another episode.
We did. We made it
up. We're
from
on our way
last
to
week
20.
to this week. We made it, and I see 16 first, but then soon after,
17, 18, 19, 20.
yeah, and then 20.
Don't forget our boy in the back. We got Mr. Rigdon with us. I apologize for my rambling.
What's up? Yeah, we're just counting up episodes. I love how every single week we make it sound like a miracle that we survived another episode.
I didn't know exactly where to go there. It's like, yeah.
But it's authentic, which is important.
We're giving the people what they want, baby.
I think I do honestly think that there is a bit of like genuine, I don't say surprise, but like gratitude and like just like, hey, we're still doing this thing. It didn't just fall off. Yeah. But you may have noticed we have a special guest in the studio this week.
Nate Tucker.
Hello, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Nate Tucker, who the f are you?
Yeah. For those of you who don't already.
As you guys might know, Nate Tucker, you've probably seen around, played a lot of MA1, moved up to MPO, now running tournaments here in Austin. Nate, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming out, man.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me.
Heard you guys had a delicious lunch today.
We did. We went to Pluckers and had some wings.
Shout out, Pluckers. No, so I got to pull my shirt out so you guys can't see how bloated.
From the Pluckers? I was kind of, I wanted wings. Wings sounded good. How are the...
You should have told me just to bring you some. I would have brought you some.
Next time.
Yeah.
Very sure.
You could be sticky-handed like me for your...
My fingers always smell for like a weird amount of time afterwards.
When you're playing in tournaments, do you ever just not eat with your right hand?
Yes.
I'll never touch food with my right hand.
I won't
Maybe
touch my water bottle
or something. Oh, same thing. I don't want water. I want anything on the right hand. Yeah. It's
Never
like
with
when it
the
has the right
front
amount of rosin and dirt, it's like, no, this is good. Homeostasis have been achieved on the hand. It's kind of hard in Texas too when it gets all sweaty and balmy hands.
Yeah, and I'll start growing out my mustache every now and then. I use mustache wax, and so I'll put that on my fingers, and I'm like, oh wait, and I gotta like go wipe them off and like wash it.
Do you know the hot wax though? Sometimes a little bit of that on your fingers when you're sweaty actually really helps.
Oh yeah,
like that's almost like a cheat code.
Yeah.
Well, there's a product out, the disc wax.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's called. I think it's called hot wax. It's
it might just be called.
It's from here in Houston, I think.
Okay.
Disc golf wax, hot wax. It reminds me. It's the exact like whoever made it made surf wax.
Yeah.
And then just made it into a long flat puck that looks like a frisbee instead of like a little thing that you can rub on the top of your board.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it right there. What's it called? Max Wax.
Max Wax.
Yeah, that's the exact stuff I have. The
Yeah.
I guess the yellow stuff there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a mini.
It's pretty.
So,
It's
like,
you can double it as a mini. Although if you put it on the ground, kind of ruins it.
especially in
immediately.
Texas,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it just starts melting. And
Then it gets grimy.
Yeah, I have it in a plastic bag that right now just has some of it everywhere. Because as soon as it gets like 95, it's just kind of oozes.
Yeah.
But that's also the perfect time to grab just a little bit off there. Do you like to forehand? Do you forehand disc?
Yeah, yeah.
So on zones and other discraft discs, you know how there's that little spot?
Yeah, the little...
It's nice, right? To put your finger at? I'll make a little spot like that on the inside of a disc.
Kind of like a pitcher with their...
the little thing, yeah.
Pine tar in the glove. And
I believe it's
not technically legal.
Is that not? Because as I said, I was like, I bet you can't, because you can't technically modify a disc.
You can't
right?
modify it.
Yeah, they won't even let you
That would
have
be-
stickers or anything on it.
Yeah,
In fact,
stickers, but you
there's-
can write a name on it, which is something we should talk about.
Yeah, that's an interesting follow-up, actually, from last week. We were talking about how anybody who finds a disc with my name on it and doesn't return it should get hemorrhoids, which I stand by.
He did say herpes off air.
But yeah, herpes was rejected. But
Lola shows up with half with the thing off.
But we talked to somebody this weekend who was like, we were talking to him, and he's like, I just kind of feel like when I lose my discs, the next person keeps them, or if I find a new disc, I keep it, like one that I found. And there's just no names on anything. That's just part of how.
A no-name disc, I say, is a no-name disc. That's
fair
lost.
game. Yeah.
If you lost a disc without a name on it, I've lost a disc without a name on it. Like you just took it out first couple times, and it's always on a second throw or just trying it out or whatever. And you just walk away from it. My bad. I lost that.
Yeah.
That was But my name.
Yeah. If you find one without my name on it, I don't wish hemorrhoids upon you.
But
you
my
keep
name's
it,
on
enjoy it. But my name's on it.
Numbers on it too.
Yeah. We out there throwing that. But some people we were finding didn't know that if you play in tournaments, you have to have a mark of some type on your disc.
You have to signify it's yours.
A unique mark.
A unique mark,
A unique mark. And so most people, that's their name. I know our buddy Pete has like a stamp that's a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Yoshi's got a Yoshi.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
A Yoshi. Our buddy Russ has a cat on all of his.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I signed the top of mine, and I have just like a very generic signature, but I signed the top of mine and I put a PDGA number. And I played around with a guy one time, and I was telling him about a disc that I lost in this river that we were by, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I think I have that disc in my garage." And I was like, okay, I never got a text about it. He goes, "Well, I thought it was somebody famous, so I held on to it." And I was like, all right, well, maybe someday.
Yeah. Well, not yet, but I am going to be on the Barely Stable podcast pretty soon.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty awesome. The signature and PDGA number on top is a pretty classy move, though.
I do it specifically so it defaces the top of the disc, so people don't want to keep it.
Yeah.
Like if somebody found a disc that has a signature on the top that is not a pro's, like when they look up 86904, they see 948, okay, whatever, and
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I am gonna. Do you mind if I adopt that?
Oh, absolutely, do it.
Definitely taking that. That's such a good idea because I don't give a shit what the top of the disc looks like. I want it to fly right, and putting the number on it. I mean, you would never throw, and it would look so weird if you like. Yeah,
they're also super easy to identify when you find them at Disc Nation or Play It Again. Like you're thumbing through discs and you're like, oh, that's my disc that I lost.
I think I just figured this out.
Just a new,
That's my new thing for sure.
New and that might help prevent people from getting hemorrhoids. Now I want to say herpes every time.
Before we get into the little weekend update, I did have a small amendment I need to make on a previous podcast we had. I was pretty hardcore in the cart line, right? And I still stand by, if I'm in a tournament, I probably want my cart.
Cart versus bag versus satchel.
Yeah, if you cart versus bag, sorry, yeah, thank you. That's why you have a co-host. They keep you right there going. I do love my cart. It's great. It's perfect for tournaments. It's a good place to sit. But I got to tell you, I just won this thing this weekend. I don't know how many are in here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just enough to have a party. 12 discs. That's a pretty fun amount of discs to have on a dog walk and such. I think the right answer is disc golf is a complicated and multifaceted sport, and every round calls for maybe the right bag or cart situation. So I'm changing from it's cart or farts to whatever floats your boat. I think every round really maybe calls for a different thing. And I can't wait to take Lola Bear here, who's sleeping on my foot and your foot, it looks like, on a walk with these 12 discs and just go have a good time and not worry about it too much. My old grip bag that's black, I filled with all black discs, and I'm playing with that bag now at Zilker. I'm going to wear it with my tuxedo t-shirt.
Oh,
and
there you go.
I think now golf has like 3 different ways to play it. You get to have and I got a glow bag.
Yeah.
So you got to,
you know what satchels are really good for is when you get a new disc and you get a bunch of new discs at the same time. Like if you win a tournament or something, you just put all new discs in there.
All new discs.
Yeah, these are all new discs.
Brand new, like barely touched.
Yeah, you just take them out, you throw them, you learn them real quick because you only got 12 options. So.
Yeah. And then, I mean, let's say your whole 15C, right? You just throw every one of them from the top of the hill down at the basket and hope you remember where all of them went. Shout out
Big
to
names on them.
Absolutely. Shout out to, I guess, Chrissy, Mint Discs, and USW DGC. They had these bags as part of the,
That's cool.
I guess,
Yeah.
what do you call it? TD payout, the merch payout, the merch cachet of stuff for the Red Rock show that's out at Moody's this weekend, which was, as always, a great time.
Great time. You played pretty good out there.
I had a very good first round, and then went down each other round. I'm clearly good for one round, and I need to work on. I left this weekend thinking I need to be in better disc golf shape. I feel like I could go do anything all day. Like if any one of you fuckers wanted to go work out in any way, I will bury you. Like let's go. I don't think I could go play 2 rounds of disc golf and be good at the end of the second round. I wouldn't gamble on a second round of disc golf I'm playing right now. Anything. I wouldn't bet you a Kona ice cream. But it was very fun out at Moody's. It was very fun, not only because Moody's is a great course, but like we had 3 kind of different rounds of disc golf. One super windy, one kind of windy. I guess our first round was just kind of windy. Second round was super windy. And then on Sunday, we had a beautiful day of disc golf.
Beautiful day.
Couldn't be better.
Sunday, actually, it was so nice out there. I didn't understand how to play. It took me 9 holes to figure out how to throw out there without gale force winds.
I was very much prepared to throw hard and low all day. And then I don't know, kept making, I don't say bad decisions, but like just, I threw a disc in my bag that I took out of my bag a year ago, and I was like, why not try this one? And wouldn't you think it's exactly what you thought, fluttered right out of bounds. Like I had second place, like shout out Logan Kitchens, Lights Out Logan
Baller.
Kitchens.
Yeah.
He was untouchable this weekend. He was running stuff way too late into there's one on number 4. He's like, I think I was going to try to go around this way. And we were all like, okay. And he just bing, 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 gets his par, moves on. He was running putts from circle 2 the whole time. Like he was playing fearless, and it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. Good vibes too.
I played with him in the second round.
Yeah,
and it was the same thing. He would run these incredible, like he didn't make, I don't think a single jump putt in the second round, but it didn't matter because if he got in circle 1,
he was making
putting it in the bucket anyway.
Yeah.
So
Our
like,
joke
why
the whole
not run
round was
from
his
16?
middle initials are MP.
Yeah.
Makes putts. Like just Logan makes putts. Kitchens. Like that's his name.
Shout out to his wife Emma, who was playing MA3 and actually was the leader after round
round 1.
Yeah.
She hung out with us on our card for about half of it on Sunday. Maybe the first class. Oh, what do you call it? The first couple of disc golf in Austin.
Oh yeah.
Like they're pretty awesome.
they're great.
Super cool people. Affection for nerds. I don't know if they can see what's in our bowl on air, but the kitchens are there.
Oh, yeah.
The addiction's real, guys. We eat these things all the time. But the way Logan was playing was just. I can't do that on the air. I'm going to chew into the microphone. We'll just set it here for a second. The way Logan was playing all weekend, though, was just super impressive. His wife played awesome. What I thought is the most fun is when everyone is having a great time on the card, whether it's lead card or a few back, when everyone's kind of got a good vibe and feeling good. There's a stretch no one was really playing hot, and then there's a stretch I personally just was not playing hot. It didn't really matter. Everyone was still kind of like having a good time, and it wasn't absent of like a little bit of ribbing, which I think is the best part. Like I like ribbing. Yeah. I like to be ribbed. I like to rib a little.
Just a little.
I mean, I don't want to like have you miss a putt for par that you needed and be like, loser. That's not cool. It's more so like if you happen to graze a tree and like it lands in bounds, you're like, can't belittle a shot in the middle, right?
Yeah. I got a little bit of it. Apparently, me and Lee played exactly the same first 2 rounds because we were together for second and third round. And I was starting to shit the bed a little bit early in the third round. I was up 5 through 4, and Lee comes over to me and he's like, "So I watched the podcast about tanking rounds. You're not going to do that now, are you?
Hilarious.
You're not."
Shout out Lee. That's very funny.
I was able to salvage the round, sort of, but I took myself cleanly out of.
But you fought, and I think you were one down.
I shot 6 down on the back nine.
You ended one down. Yeah, that's
still not to my rating. Still, You know, I would like for it. I maybe would have been happier had it dropped off. But
the round.
you can't talk a bunch of shit on the podcast and then do the thing you said nobody should do.
I had someone talk to me about the last podcast out at Moody's too, and the question was, and it was from a MA3 player, and they're like, well, what, tanking around getting an 888, that's not that bad. I'll take an 888 most rounds. And I was like, that's just a code. It's not the actual rating you get.
Yeah.
That would be pretty rad if you're just like, fuck it, and the worst you could do is 888. Please. Yeah. Welcome.
I would have been happy with that.
Like, I'll sign up for whatever you're selling if that's the outcome.
I did have one crazy highlight that I wanted to mention.
Oh, yeah, you got a photo, right?
We got a photo. We were coming up to, I think it was hole 12 or hole 11, and there was a turtle coming across the middle of the fairway. And Lee was like, oh, man, check out this turtle, and went and picked it up. And I was like, well, we have to get a picture. But I got this picture. I think it's up now. And I showed it to Nikki, and she was like, oh, how'd you get the turtle to smile? And I don't know if we can zoom in on that. He is not smiling. He is hissing. He does
not look happy. Yeah. His eyes are squinted.
He was like,
we'll have Rigdon throw it in there, zoomed in in post-production. But that is one awesome photo. What hole was the turtle walking around? One of the pond holes?
It was like 12. Yeah, he was walking across from like the road to the pond. It was, I can't remember. I think it's 12. It's the really long one that curves to or no, it's just a really long straight one. It's like a poke and pray because it goes down.
Oh, and then the woods.
Yeah. I think maybe it's 14.
13. Yeah.
But yeah, he was just cruising across the fairway. And
let's be honest, he was not cruising.
Yeah, no, he was turtling.
He's a turtle.
He moved actually surprisingly fast.
Pretty quick.
He realized Lee was trying to pick his ass up. But
have you seen the turtles on skateboards?
Yeah.
Real thing. Mini skateboards like the ones the kids do on the fingers. Little turtles get on those and they're just zooming around.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
The turtles seem to love it. They crawl themselves on it and then they are just flying around the floor. Sorry, way change it. So you guys are disc golfing on a disc golf podcast. Sorry, continue.
We did move the turtle closer to the pond in the direction where he was heading. There's a little bit of backup, so we had time to goof around and take a picture. I was actually up next and talk about ribbing. One of the guys was like, yo, your 30 seconds are coming on Freeberg.
That's pretty funny. Meanwhile, you have a turtle. Yeah.
That's funny.
What kind of turtle? Snapping turtle, do you think?
I have no idea what kind of turtle.
It's a red-eared slider.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Let's go. A red-eared slider.
Red-eared slider?
Yeah. He was, he was pretty chill. He did...
You guys missed his face. This is a podcast. If you're not watching, Nate made a face like, I don't know.
That's not a real thing.
Everybody had been like, never heard of that kind of snapper.
I don't know. But he was hissing, and I had, because Lee can be a shit.
Turtles really hiss?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was mad. And Lee was like, check him out. And like, I'm not really afraid of turtles, but I just had this vision of Lee like holding him up to my fat and him clamping on. So I was like, nice turtle.
So, I mean, clamping high, that's better than... I thought you were going someplace else.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like I had the sleeveless T-shirt on, you know what I mean?
Hold on. You were playing disc golf without sleeves? What? We got to get a newsflash bulletin.
And yeah, you know, I just my little skin back there is a little sensitive, and if you would have put his mouth close to something, he 100% would have been it. Like, he was not happy with it.
Oh, did you guys know that there was an eclipse?
Oh yeah. Also,
moving on.
Eclipse happened this week.
We'll have a lot more Barely Stable podcasts when we come back after this word from Sector Disc Golf.
Everyone loves the feeling of stepping up to the tee pad and reaching for your favorite disc. Imagine if every disc in your bag felt like your favorite. Introducing Sector Disc Golf's revolutionary technology. Approved by the PDGA in 2023, players choose their grip, then choose their rim, and throw with confidence. Available exclusively online at nshcustoms.com. Sector Disc Golf, Austin, Texas.
All right, we're back here at the Barely Stable podcast. We're here with Nate Tucker. We're going to talk a little bit about his ascension, going from MA1 up to MPO and now running tournaments. Nate, thanks for so much for coming in and being on that first part of the podcast as we tried our best to do disc golf talk.
Absolutely.
We may have it's probably got edited out, but we may have had a little bit of a giggle session there.
There's a supercut out there somewhere that Rigdon's going to hold over my head for a long time of me not being able to stop giggling.
It's like some 9-year-old girls talking about a hot boy.
We were out at Moody's. It had just rained. The cows, you find stuff. So Nate, welcome to the show. You were out at Moody's this weekend. How'd you shoot?
I was not out at Moody's.
Not coming
I wish I was, but I was.
How did you know so much about Moody's?
I like my boys, so I follow along and keep up with who's doing what. I saw you were leading for a while. And,
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, so.
It was really just for a minute, half second. Logan, I think, went 8 down the second round. Everyone else was like trying to stay even, and he was going 8 back.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Logan and Emma played in our thing on Thursday too, so I was
nice.
keeping up with them as well, and so yeah, it's cool to see.
So you got a thing going on this weekend, right?
Yes. This Saturday, we have our 4th annual Central Texas Wildflower Open. This is a tournament that we run up at our course in Chapel Hill. The course is Chapel Hill up in Georgetown. I did get one registration one time from a guy in North Carolina, and I was like, buddy, I don't think this is yours.
Do you think they just Googled Chapel Hill?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, they definitely did. But yeah, so it's a 2-round C tier, 13 holes each, because we got 9 holes on our property, and then we do 4 temporary holes for each round. It's a fun time. I mean, I try to put on the best player-friendly tournament that I can, so we add a ton of money into value and cash, and then players packs are typically really, really good. And
you brought a couple discs
cool
with you, right?
You got
Yeah.
What do you guys got offered this weekend? We got
we got our disc from Mint. So we've got Sublime Mustangs, we've got Apex Longhorns, we got Flex Lassos, we've got Tacos.
Are they still calling the Flex Lasso the Flosso?
I don't know. I've not heard that one. I like
Patent it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Guy over at Mint Disc, he actually on a bunch of these, he did like mix foils. I don't know if you can see, but there's like 2 separate foils here. So he has a fun. He's a little artist, so he just puts foil, stamps it, and does a great job. Yeah.
Oh, so one side of the foil is just that kind of green, the other one's like the purple swirl?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's really cool. I noticed on some of the Tour Series discs for Discraft this year, they did the type of disc in one type of foil and then the names in the other. I happen to have a couple right here. Shout out to Yoshi for awesome Christmas presents, but they did like basically the name in Discraft in one stamp and the ratings, and then kind of, I don't know, they broke up the stamp. This is probably a better example on the Kratos, but yeah, blue kind of carrying down the middle, and then I don't know, little things like that on discs always
It's cool.
I don't know, add. Yeah,
It is really cool. Yeah, and Discraft hasn't done 2 foil stamps in I don't even know how long. So
it feels like they're making an effort not to tangent too much, but like Discraft, if they were the boring ones.
Oh yeah.
Last year, I mean, again, not to pull these up, but like this is absurd.
Yeah.
This is such this is the prettiest plastic I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
You wouldn't 3 years ago, this would never have come from Discraft. Like when they had a swirly ESP, we're like, oh, so cool.
Yeah.
So back to your player packs, man.
Yeah.
We got swirls on some of the discs there. The swirls.
Yeah.
These Mustangs are incredible looking.
Mustangs are really good swirls. Yeah.
You said the rest of the players pack was going to be cool stuff too, right?
Yeah. We just have a loot bag from Loot Bags.
Shout out Loop.
Shout out Loot Bags. Always can't go to Loot Bags. My favorite.
I don't have them in my hands yet, but they are awesome. They are like a cowhide that looks like it's branded with this little brand, and then she said that they turned out really
so
good.
smart.
So I can't wait to pick them up.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them either.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
Yeah.
And then
You should get Loot Bags that look like a potato.
Our friend Ryan Wagner had talked about, he's like, I talked to him and I said, maybe we should get some Team Potato ones. I haven't reached out yet, but I should.
They're super great to
Yeah,
work
they're
with.
awesome. They said they'd hook us up with some for the podcast too. We got to get them on the podcast, but I can see it's almost the shape of a potato.
Yeah, it really, and they do, the printing on it is so good.
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently he said he could do the little mohawk for the Team Potato in
On the
felt.
seam?
In felt. So it's
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
really
also, I should say, when we introduced Nate, new Team Potato member.
Hey,
Yeah. Got him on the site, but he got some shirts.
he got
Put it on his
tattooed.
sleeve.
Yeah, I got a
It's not
tattoo
an
over
actual
that.
tattoo.
I'm kidding. It's the only way you can really be a Team Potatoes. You have to have a spud tattoo on the
Yeah, my appointment's on Friday. So
Okay, cool. It'll match the one I don't have.
That would be a pretty cool tattoo. Name someone with a potato tattoo. That's
That-
kind of cool.
that's true.
And the little mohawk, it's pretty dope.
I mean, the one you have with the like Voltron potato, that's.
The Destroyer Potato.
I feel like we're gonna get Freeberg a little liquored up and take him down 6th Street, and we're gonna get a potato destroyer.
100% could happen. I actually, Nikki and I were working on other discs that we could make potato.
Okay.
Like we could do like a Leopard 3 potato, and just be a potato with spots and maybe like.
Oh,
a
there you
tail.
go.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I get it. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah, like other.
The Discraft with their like I don't know real printing, you could just print like your pizza buzz.
Oh yeah.
Just a straight potato. I have a waffle one as well. That's
pretty cool.
With the pizza one, that it actually looks more appealing than the pizza. The pizza is like cafeteria pizza. It's like that pizza only looks appealing if you know
Like
you're
the
really hungry.
cardboard and marinara with cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the waffle looks like a legit waffle. Like
The detail they get on there, are,
I
It's-
want to know the process. That's just
it's
crazy.
sublimation printing.
Okay.
Like they do sublimation printing on a lot of different like
Yeah.
products.
That's what they
like-
do on our loot bags.
Yeah, kind of same thing. Yeah, or like have you seen it printed on like a bottle? I can't see anything.
Oh, yeah.
in the studio
Yeah,
that's
no, I
actually
got one.
sublimated, unfortunately. But again, trying to get back on track. So sorry. How long have you been playing disc golf? Let's start from the jump.
I've been playing disc golf for a bit. I started probably back in like 2011 ish, and then I really.
What's your number?
86,904. So 86,000.
yeah, that's pretty
Sub 100.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
140,000 less than me.
Yes.
So 141,000 less than me.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember like getting a bag of discs. I was living in Oklahoma City at the time. I got a bag of discs and I had very similar to that bag and just filled it with discs. And I played probably for 2 years and then just kind of, I don't know, lost it for a little while. And then one day I was moving out of a house and I saw my bag and I was like, all right, I'm going to try this again. And then I started playing it and I was like, holy cow, I'm actually pretty good at this. And so first tournament was in 2017. And then,
So did you start right at MA1 or did you work your way up or?
yeah, so it's actually a funny story. I started in MA2.
Okay.
And
What was your initial rating? Do you remember?
so my first tournament, I tied for first. I lost in the playoff, but tied for first. It was 939 rated. And so,
smokes.
yeah. And so the next tournament was the next month. And I signed up for the Oklahoma Open. And I signed up in MA2. And I was, going to play in MA2. And I show up to the tournament and the guy's like, hey, just FYI, your rating is too high for MA2, so you got to play MA1 now. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he's like, by the way, you owe me $20 more for registration. And I was like, you could have emailed me that. So I proceeded to have
I brought some cash on me, huh?
yeah.
Because your single round, you were
My single round, well, it was 2 rounds that averaged out to 939. But yeah, because of that single tournament, I went up to MA1 and I had an awful tournament at the Oklahoma Open. I was on the last card and it was so bad. But yeah, so then after that, I just stuck up in MA1 and I never really had a motivation to get out of MA1. I kind of hovered around 900 to 930 for a long time. And then just the past few years, I've been really like grinding and playing a lot more. And so, last year I tried to make a jump to MPO and played one tournament and then we had some family stuff go on. And so I stopped playing for about 3 months. And then when I picked it back up, I was like, oh, I'm not good anymore.
Not ready for MPO.
No.
Like, yeah, step up.
Yeah, and so I went back to MA1. Last year I played MA1 the whole year and played lights out for most of it. I won 4 B tiers.
nice. 4 B tiers. That's huge.
Yeah. I won the hot finals in MA1 last year by a lot. And so like that was kind of the moment where I was like, I need to
Pull that up. Let's see how many strokes. That's awesome. A lot.
It was
Hot
a pretty
finals,
strong
no joke.
finish.
I
was looking at it.
Yeah, I had a
today, actually.
7-stroke lead after the first round. I think it might have even been more, to be honest with you.
Jeez.
But I mean, it was just one of those rounds, and it was at Moody's, so it was like my happy place.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those tournaments where I played and I was like, you know what, I can do this. I tied Marshall Blanks for the hot round of the whole day. I beat out Mason Ford on the first round. So I was like, you know,
Vibe.
I can do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Boom.
mint
We got it pulled up.
tryouts.
Yeah, that
Double
whoa.
digits. Yeah,
I was expecting
that's-
a lot. I didn't expect that much.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He's all yeah.
It's kind of hard when you have a lead like that. What was it?
First day you
7
were
strokes.
8 strokes up. Yeah,
7 strokes up. And so when you go in with a 7-stroke lead on a course that's playing outside of that 7 strokes is playing within 2 to 3 strokes for the next 7 guys, it's kind of hard to maintain your composure going forward.
Yeah,
But you came right back and shot another 61.
I shot
On your
the
second
hot round every round, I believe.
or tied it. Yeah, it
Or
looks
tied
like
it, yeah. I tied it on the last day, but
Wow.
but yeah, after that tournament, I was just kind of like, you know what, I can do this.
Let's
I
make
don't-
some money.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
I don't need 5 discs anymore. I'm more than capable of trying to win some money.
Yeah, man.
I can also tell you I've played a few rounds. Nate's done me the honor of coming out and being like, "Hey, it's your home course, Northtown. Let's go, let's jam it." And
Where do you go?
the boy can bomb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a
He
Northtown.
can bomb. We had, I think our most recent one, neither of us played as well as we wanted to, but it was windy and grossly overgrown, and he still shot like well under.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think every time we played, he's beat me by at least 5 strokes.
it's fun. You know,
It's fun beating him. I like
No, it's not-
he's,
it's not
he's not
fun
that good.
beating
I'm really
people.
good.
No.
I just come and dominate. Mamba, what?
I'm very intrinsically motivated. So when I'm playing well, I'm feeling really good, and when I'm not playing well, I feel really bad. Even if I'm not playing well and that's beating other people, like I'm never upset. Or I'm never like trying to beat other people. I'm just,
I can totally relate
Yeah.
to that. I feel like I feel this weird pressure sometimes in card where I feel like their scores compared to like the other people on the card, and I'm never thinking like that. I'm always thinking of what my expectation is for me on this hole and then this round, and I don't know anything beyond that. But it feels like sometimes in tournaments, I am caught between, do I keep an eye on the scorecard and understand my position and play smart, or step up to every shot and just throw the thing that makes the most sense every time and not try to think strategically? Because it feels like every time I've made a big old sarcastic quotation marks for the listeners out there, strategic move, unquotation marks, sarcasm stopped, I fuck up and give up 2 strokes. I did this at Moody's on 18 on whatever the combined course is. There was no catching Logan for first, but second place I had wrapped up. I had 2 strokes on 18's tee box, and I said, throw it in bounds, throw it in bounds, throw it under the basket, tap it in. I grabbed a disc that was just going to get me to that tree.
yeah.
Didn't try to push the tree, just tried to get to the tree and to the ground. And that disc that I put in my my bag for some reason,
That's what I'm going to try.
just kept, and I was like a foot out of bounds there. And I was like, all right, disc down on this upshot and just throw it in that fucking thing anywhere. A 5, still, he's got a birdie. He's probably not going to birdie. Just go get a 5 and you're fine. A T-bird 3 further than I've ever thrown a T-bird 3 on that shot, and was like a foot out of bounds again.
Brutal.
Yeah. To put it lightly, friend. And then I was like, you know what though? I'm directly behind the basket. I've made 10 of these putts today. Just go make this putt. Did not make the putt.
Yeah.
But every single throw from the one off the tee was in my head going, why didn't you throw the shot that you were pretty sure you were good at throwing? Like your forehands worked all day.
Yeah.
Throw the forehand, let it push a little past the tree. If you're lucky, if it hits the tree, awesome. You know, that's a pretty safe shot too. You've thrown that well 4 times. How about not the disc you haven't thrown in a year and then trying to do something cute with it, like throw it into the ground?
Well, I think too, like that's the biggest mental or like the biggest jump that I had from MA1 to MPO. And, you know, I just talked a lot about myself, and I don't normally do that. I'm very modest about how I play and how I treat others. And like, I don't ever want to like shove it in somebody's face that I can throw farther than them, or I can, you know, keep it in bounds when everybody else just threw it out of bounds. And so, the biggest step for me was just, you know, worrying about myself and how I manage a course. And so when I'm playing Moody's, I've got my shots. I've got, you know, I know what I'm going to throw off of 14's tee. I go up and I throw that shot. And I know how to manage myself from there. But like when I got into that second and third round at the finals, especially the third round, I'm going in with this lead. I've blown leads bigger than that before. And so I went in with that lead, and the first hole was, or one of the first holes was hole 10, where you're throwing down and then around the corner. There's, And so
gettable par 4.
Yeah. And so I'm standing up there, and I am, you know, I always throw my grackle right down the middle. I get up, I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to throw a Mustang this time. I just need to play it in the middle. And I did the same thing. Like I pulled it over, threw it out of bounds, right? I'm like, what am I doing? Like, even if I throw my grackle out of bounds, I'm throwing it out of bounds 150 feet further.
Yeah.
You know, just stick with the game plan. So once I started sticking with the game plan, and you start being more intrinsically motivated rather than like what's going on around you, being aware of like how your rating's going to be or how far under par you are, that's when you start, you know, now being an MPO, it's kind of the cash line. Like, am I going to cash at this event? And thankfully I've played a few like Fuego Fridays where I don't have to worry about cashing necessarily because it's a smaller field. And so I'm just trying to go out there and beat the course, and then I end up cashing. And so when I do end up cashing, it's like a little bit rewarding for that. Then I went and played a bigger tournament, didn't cash, and I was like, oh, okay. This is actually how it goes.
Talk to us a little bit about tournament prep, because I think that's something that we can all benefit from. I mean, I have the things I do, and I occasionally will do that too. I'll get out there and be like, no, I'm going to throw something different. And
for the record, neither of us make that face.
I do right before I throw it. Like, oh, get this out of my bag. You know, I try to have like a list of what I'm going to drive with.
Yeah.
And I like to have a practice. But tell us what you do. Obviously,
I think it's important to go in at least with the mindset of what you're going to throw. Like I used to write on my drivers. Like I would take this driver and I would write Will Rogers holes 1, 3, 4, 5, and those are like the ones that I throw that disc on. That was when I first started. Now I've started making notes, and I'll know like, oh, there's a tree 200 feet off of the tee on the left side that you can't see.
Wouldn't you love a feature on UDisc, whereas you had UDisc up, your course notes that you have on each hole are saved at the bottom?
Yeah.
I've sent that note to them a dozen times. Every single time there's an opportunity to give UDisc feedback, I go, I love your app. You're the best brand in disc golf. Please just add this feature. I will gladly pay whatever absurd fee you put on for the year.
Yeah.
Just let me make a note on a hole, so every time I pull it up on a tournament and go,
oh yeah,
throw your destroyer.
Here's the
throw
4
your
things.
leopard.
Oh, the 3 things I'm going to fucking laser and get the, I already have that yardage there because I wrote it down one time.
Yeah.
That would, or just as simple as that for like, hey, dipshit, throw the red destroyer hard and flat like you do every time, and don't think twice.
Yeah.
Get that virus out of your hand, or get that.
Right.
Put the leopard 3 down, dummy. You need something stable. Like I need something that's mean to me for those. Like
I've created a caddy book thing that I use that's essentially a spreadsheet, and like when I
heard about
a new tournament, I basically put in every hole, distance, par, etc., and then there's a note to the right. And I didn't print it out this week for Moody's. It's just one that I had made before and it's kind of familiar with.
Yeah.
But what I did do is go through it line by line, hole by hole with the U-Disc map. That was like my night before. So I just kind of like fact checked what I was doing. Then the wind showed it was going to be really windy. So I put a Nuke OS in, I put a tilt in so that anything that was in like a longer or shorter range, I really just had to like crank into something. At least I had something that I knew would just fight and eat and would get to the ground. What kind of prep do you do even before you get to the course? Like what's your, I guess, night before like?
Night before, I try to make sure I get a good night's sleep. First of all, I tend to stay up and play video games really late, and so yeah. And so whenever I've got a tournament, I mean, it's also important not to get out of your rhythm. So like, I'm not trying to go to bed at 7 p.m. on a night before the tournament, but when I go to Moody's, I camp out there, and so I do end up going to bed at 7 p.m. because I'm like by myself.
And the sun goes down. Yeah.
I wake up at 6 a.m. and my tea time's at 1 p.m. and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do for 7 hours?
Crochet a blanket.
Yeah.
He's walked with us before.
Oh yeah, I walked like
I
had the whole 1 through 9 with them before I had my round.
That's what I need you. I was accused by our good friend Pete this week because I played around with him and he did not play well, and it's like the 3rd or 4th time. But he was like, I've never shot over 830 with you. He did that time when you walked with us.
Pete needs me.
Yeah.
When I played with them, he was like 7 down through 9 or something like
he
that.
Was crushing it.
He went like 6 over the back 9.
After you left?
Yeah, right after I left.
That's really funny.
I need you to give me some of that mojo.
Yeah,
so I can not be Pete's curse.
I'm a very good caddy. I'm a teacher, so that's what comes naturally to me. So whenever I caddy for people, I can see things that I don't even see when I play. And
brother, isn't it clear as day when you watch someone else doing it?
Oh yeah,
it's like, what are you? And then I'm like, where's my person who's going to me? What are you doing? So many times. My buddy Yoshi, he was on my card a couple times this weekend, and a couple times after the shot, he went, why didn't you just throw that one disc you throw all the time really well?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm an idiot. I wasn't thinking.
Where were you before the throw, Yoshi?
He's like, just following the rules, Nick. You can't tell me.
Wait. Get a different disc, sir.
When you have 2 rounds the same day, what's your between round routine?
I'm kind of antisocial, so between rounds, I will go, unless I've got like a good group of friends that are there already, between rounds, I'll go get lunch or I'll eat my lunch, or most of the time I just bring like a protein bar or something, and then I just sit in my car. I watch everybody else sit out there and putt. I'll get out like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go to my hole, and I'll putt or throw a couple, but I think you can overwork yourself very easily, especially when you start getting up in age. Like these young guys can go out and do all what they want
all day long.
These young guys, you're one of those.
No,
young
I'm
guys
not one of.
you know that, right?
Physically, I'm not one of those young guys anymore. No, I turned 30, 33. I don't even remember how old I am. I turned 32. I turned 33 this year.
But you still a baby.
Yeah, no. But I turned 32, and on my 32nd birthday, I woke up and I was like, oh, there's pains here that weren't there before, and they've stuck with me for the whole year.
That is something we ran into this weekend. There was because the AMs finish so much quicker on Fire on the Mountain than the pros do.
Yeah.
Or like MA1 and the pros. It was almost an hour before the pros finished, and they're like, oh, we haven't. It ended up being 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and as an old dude, like the rigor mortis was setting in.
Yeah.
Like I was starting to stiffen up, like, you know what I mean? Like
that is the one thing about the tournaments out there when they have the AMs and the pros mixed, you do wait a long time in between rounds.
As a tournament director, how would you fix that problem?
As a tournament director, how would I fix that? I would fix that by not doing the 2 courses at the same time, or keeping the crews on the same course. So like AM's playing Fire on the Mountain, they play it again in the afternoon. There's not really a good fix for it.
Could the pros not just start at 8 a.m. and the AM start at 9 a.m.?
Yeah, they could.
It felt like the easiest.
I don't think going earlier is ever the option. I think
let's say everyone was going to tee off at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and then the AMs were just delayed. 45 minutes, an hour,
a little bit.
No, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think that would have been nice. I also, I think it would have been cool if they would have been on top of it, like right when the pros were done. If they would have been like, okay, now because the pros were done, And it was like 30 minutes, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
now we have an hour.
That's the thing I
And it's
noticed
like-
the last time I ran into that was
Yeah.
like, as soon as the AMs or the pros are done, AMs can hop on. You don't need to wait for everybody to tee off at the same time. Just give the pros
delay
their
the
hour.
AMs.
Yeah.
It's a different course.
That was the if you guys took words from my mouth, I think that's the only other way you can do it. Like just like it, everyone. I don't say it doesn't matter, but like they'll be done before the AMs start.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's a 5-minute turnaround on the course.
Right.
Like the course doesn't need to be like reset.
Right.
Yeah, it's still the same.
Now, our course that we play on Saturday does need to be reset. So
In between
there,
rounds?
yeah,
Okay.
if there were something like that, which there never would be on ours, but like if there were a bigger course where you had to move baskets or something like that, then it might need to get a little bit.
And I know we got away from it, but tell us a little bit about this course. I know this is your special baby. You've been doing the Wildflower tournament
Yes.
since for a while now, right?
Yeah. So I believe we started in 2018, and then our first sanctioned tournament was in 2019. But we run the Central Texas Wildflower Open, and we started it with the idea of, well, we had this property on our church that it used to be farmland. Guy used to come out and till it and do all that. And then I was like, hey, we can put a disc golf course out here. So I went to another course that I found up in Georgetown that just wasn't being managed well. And it was like super overgrown. It was a beautiful property, but super overgrown. So I went over to the guy at this church and I asked him, hey, can we purchase your baskets off of you? And he was like, oh yeah, it was a youth ministry thing back in the day. Whatever you pay us, that's what we'll give to them. And I was like, cool. So we bought the baskets, we brought them over, and we built this 9-hole disc golf course on the back of our church property on 16 acres. And so then we started running, the first tournament was a fundraiser
I love
tournament.
this shot there.
Yeah. But this is why we call it the Wildflower Open, is because we have just a abundance of wildflowers out there, especially if I mow down the year before and get it real bald and then they grow up like this. Like this is just insane how many BlueBonnets and Indian paintbrush and Indian blankets and all these different wildflowers that we have out there.
So in between rounds, we'll have time to go take BlueBonnet pictures.
Oh yeah. You can go over to hole 8 and just sit in the BlueBonnets and
I think we need to
over.
do. I've been trying to get these guys to do a
yeah,
cute
like prom
BlueBonnet
style.
picture. Yeah. And they're not as into it as I am, but I'll wear them down.
The first time you asked, we were pretty sure you were talking about the disc. We got our beautiful new discs,
which we ended up doing. We ended up taking
did
those
get,
photos with the discs.
Yeah, that isn't at all.
and they
what I was
look
talking
incredible.
about.
It's got the next sun flare. I mean, it's
awesome.
a good picture.
It's like, we're going to take a BlueBonnet picture, and they're like, no.
So what if we go 3 deep? Prom style, me on your hips, you're on Rigdon's hips, or whatever the height order is, and we just
Lean out on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
side.
Absolutely.
I think it would be amazing.
I mean, do we leave from right here and go get BlueBonnet pictures?
No.
Oh, Rigdon's busy. It looks like.
I got places I got to be. Oh man.
So, the Wildflower name sounds really familiar.
So
nice way to bring that one up.
It feels like it's an easy word to use because there are so many wildflowers,
Yeah.
not only here in Texas, but like everywhere in
Right.
America, or really, I'm guessing the world. I haven't checked the wildflower population all over, but I'm guessing this is the time of the year they
it's
come up.
especially beautiful here.
Yeah, but I think it's beautiful because the BlueBonnets are abundant, and then they get accent with like a color that's on the other side of the wheel,
Right.
and that gives a lot of dynamics to it. Southern California gets them really well too, because they have these like rolling mountains that are just full of wildflowers. It kind of looks like a blanket got put on.
Yeah, they were blooming when we drove out there for spring break.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
So the wildflower name, how?
Tell us
Yeah,
about the
so-
wildflower thing.
It seems like there's another. Yeah.
We wanted to have a name that was relevant for the course. We didn't want to call it the Windy Open because it's always windy up there, but we don't want to detract people from coming to play, and so we did the Central Texas Wildflower Open, which we have affectionately called the CTWO. And 2 Decembers ago, Chrissy and Mint they came up with the Wildflower Tour, and when they first announced that, I reached out and I said, hey, just letting you guys know we run a tournament, but I don't want to take anything away from you guys. So we're going to pull off of the name this year, and we will support you in any way we can. And so
What a big move. That was awesome.
yeah. And I love Chrissy and I love Mint. So we set forward with that goal. We actually ran a different tournament last year called the Mayhem on the Hill, and it was at 2 different courses over 2 different days. The Mayhem. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was an AI generated name. It was like, hey, give me a disc golf tournament for May, and they were like Mayhem, and I was like, all right, that works for me.
7 out of 10. Good job, AI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and then so this year, with the Wildflower Tour being as successful as it is, and with them being like cemented and solidified, I was like, yeah, we're gonna run the Open here, and we want to. We don't want to step on toes, obviously. So I reached out to Chrissy, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, please do." And then we're also doing a charity portion of the event. For every registration that comes in, $2 is going to go to charity, which is going to be registering a female that attends our Hyzerines Club stuff, paying their registration for a Wildflower Tour event in the future.
Oh,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
When you're saying registering, my mind went someplace else. So essentially, the winner of the tour, aside from like what the payout is and stuff, you'll pay for the registration into a Wildflower event.
Yeah, not necessarily the winner, but just somebody who participates.
That's
our
awesome.
goal would be to get every girl that participates in or every lady that participates in our events to help them out in some way. So if maybe it's
amazing.
adding $20
Yeah.
to somebody, but
And clearly Mint doesn't have that big a deal with it because they made a bunch of pimp discs for you.
no, they were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean those the Apex Swirl, is that what these ones are called?
Those are Sublime.
Sublime Swirl. Yeah, these are always baller. I forget what this what does MVP call this?
I don't know.
Plasma.
Plasma. Yeah.
Plasma.
Always feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always feels good in the hand.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've thrown those Longhorns yet, but they are bombers.
They are
They are
They fly a
probably
long
my
way.
favorite disc that they've made. So.
Yeah.
Whoever has my blue one, hemorrhoids.
So if you didn't get a chance to watch last week's episode, just to catch everyone up, Freeberg has lost a disc, a Longhorn. It was at Sprinkle, right?
No, Live Oak.
Live Oak.
Yeah.
Live Oak. So if you've ever been to Live Oak, or you know anyone's been to Live Oak, and they've retrieved a blue Longhorn, it has Daniel Freeberg's name on the back and his phone number.
It'll be weird because they cry when they poop every time. The hemorrhoid.
We hope
on
the herpes or the hemorrhoids is doing well. But if you have his disc, please.
I don't want to get too graphic, but I'm going to have to check my trunk to see if maybe Daniel's disc is back there. And I don't really want to tell you why. I think that maybe I inadvertently took his disc, but it's just a possibility.
That would be hilarious if he was just like, "Oh, is this yours?"
Is this? Yeah, I picked this up. He was playing with us that day. He helped me look for it for like an hour.
That'd be hilarious. With the Wildflower, is the Wildflower tournament part of the Wildflower tour?
No, not at this moment.
Okay.
It's a smaller course, so it's 9 holes, and we add the 4 temporary holes to make it 13 PTJ legal, and we can max out at 65 people. So putting a max on a tournament like a Wildflower event, I'm pretty sure they average over 65, and I would never want to.
Totally makes sense. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there might be opportunity for that in the future, but I think it'd probably be more like fundraiser stuff.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a full.
I mean,
event.
what you have going now is incredible.
Yeah.
Like no notes. I mean, just the fact that you're thinking of others in doing a tournament is, I mean, you're setting a standard there. I'll just put it lightly. I mean, there's a lot of great tournament directors, but I don't know too many whose objective is to like strictly give back. That's pretty awesome, man.
I also don't know too many who built the course themselves.
Oh, right. You built the course. You kind of just, I don't say, went through there, but you're like, oh, yeah, I went and picked up some baskets, and then just magically a course was made.
Can we pause for just a second?
Yeah.
I think Lola farted on us.
ripped it, dude. It's so bad.
And now, a barely stable moment of Zen.
Hey, so we're back here on the Barely Stable podcast. Hope you enjoyed that moment of zen brought to you by Daniel Rigdon. We had a little bit of a gas issue here in the studio. We were making sure we didn't have a leak of any kind. We do have
the Lola pipe
Floof.
had a.
I'll be honest with you. We gave her some cheese, and she might have got some salami yesterday during the eclipse. We didn't know it could have been the end of the days. You know, we had no idea. Last mention the eclipse, promise. So as you designed and built the course, I'm assuming you had a lot of open land since you talked about it being farmland. What different ways did you kind of like, I don't know, make open space interesting?
So we had to get really creative because it's open farmland. We got a set of bleachers on the property. We've got like I think 4 trees that are.
Are the bleachers just for teenage
I don't know what the
boys and
bleachers are
girls to
for.
go make out underneath?
I think so. Yeah.
It sounded weird
church.
just to have like bleachers sitting out in the middle of the field.
I mean, they're so far out though. Like, they're way back in the corner of the property. I don't know. I remember taking pictures when I was a kid out there. I don't know where they're from. So they've
Maybe
been
an old
here for a
softball. I bet an old softball field.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all downhill. It's weird. It's super weird. Anyway.
Maybe it was for taking pictures.
Maybe.
So
Yeah.
Taller for the church or something.
They were like,
Oh
hey,
yeah, it's good. Like
let's
the
take
group.
our church directory photos. Let's march out to the back of the field. And
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have this wide open property. We got like 3 trees, some telephone poles, stuff like that. So part of what we do is we also installed a soccer field at the same time. So the first hole when we play the tournament, we make a triple mando out of some stanchions. And then on hole 2...
What the fuck's a stanchion?
Stanchion would just be like, these ones are just big wooden...
Stanchions.
They're, I think of stanchion like a basketball hoop in the NBA. They hold the basketball hoop. They call it a stanchion,
okay,
right?
okay.
So just like some supporting thing.
Got it.
I just nodded along. I had no idea either, so I'm glad you asked. Oh, cool. 3 stanchions.
Yeah, so we have some wood come up out of the ground that's there, and then we have a ribbon across the top. So it's really easy triple.
That's sick though.
It gets easier every year. Then we have some elevated pins.
I love a good elevated basket. I don't like when they're all elevated, but I do like a couple elevated baskets.
And it's windy out there.
And it's very windy all the time. So then in between fairways, we also have OB dividing fairways. The first tournament that we ran out there, we did all tall grass OB, and people lost their minds because we manicure it really well.
Yeah. I mean, you can see all the lines, especially around the
Yeah.
So were all the spots that there were wildflowers OB?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually ran across the course map the other day, and I was like, "Why did I do this?" This is my first tournament ever.
Live and learn. Yeah,
it was
hard
awful.
to make this.
Yeah, and so we've got like cheese sticks on one of the holes. We have a mandatory telephone pole on one of the holes. The back edge of the property goes downhill and then back uphill. And then our biggest feat was when we built up a mound on hole 7, and so there's this basket on top of a mound, and I don't think there's a picture of that one.
I just noticed that one of the photos was added by a user whose username was Texas2 Putt.
Yeah,
10 out of 10 username.
So that guy also he does this like for his his hobby. I don't know who he is, but I was out in California on one of the courses out there, and I'm looking at pictures, and he's got all the pictures out there.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then
go
back to that. So our big thing that we hype up, and if there's anything that anybody at home is listening to and wants to, you want to have a good time, you come out to Glow. We do Glow on the hill. And we have a basket. We have a light on every basket, and most of the year we actually have the basket lights installed for it. But then we also put lights out in the fairway, and it's very open. So scores are like you get pretty good scores out there. You start to feel really good about yourself. And
I could use that.
Yeah.
Notice that picture was by a friend of the show, Jimmy Turbo.
Oh, shout out Jimmy
Shout out
Turbo.
Jimmy Turbo.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've gotten creative over the years doing our course building. We just installed 2 new pins the other day. One of them is elevated, but it's also a lot shorter. So we work with what we've got, and then for the tournament, the other 4 holes that go out in front, we play over the parking lot. We play some islands and different stuff. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said you had 65 spots. I'm guessing a couple spots open?
yes, we have a couple spots open.
Couple spots open. So if you're out there and you're still trying to get a rated round in, it's rated, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Rated round
13
this
is the
weekend.
minimum.
That's on Saturday.
Yep.
So
Saturday afternoon too. It's not the whole day. It's just the afternoon.
Yeah.
2 rounds, real chill.
Yeah, I'm gonna play.
You'll get paid.
you're gonna play too.
Yeah.
So you got a full weekend disc golf again,
Not this week. Saturday, I'm gonna play that one.
and then Sunday you're doing the UT thing, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot the UT thing. Shout out, the UT thing's gonna be super bitchin'.
Yeah.
It's
I know I want to do that.
I want to do it.
across
Rigdon wants
the-
to do it too. Do you want to do it? Then we just need one more person.
I might do it.
Okay.
Anyone out there, hit us up if you want to be our fourth.
There you go.
Someone ditched us.
Apparently somebody.
my boy.
We hit up Freeberg in the text. We're like, hey, this UT thing looks awesome. Rigdon's like, yeah, let's do it. Trevor's like, I'll fly home for it. And Freeberg's like, there's no way I'll play with you idiots. I'm already playing with my 3 best friends. And we all, I'll be honest with you, we all got into a private chat without Freeberg.
Yeah.
It was just tear emoji, cry emoji, tear emoji.
Had a good.
Shout out, Luke Parsons. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your team.
Obviously, we're kidding.
I hope you understand how much crap these turds have been giving me.
No real crap. Support. And even if we don't get to play, we're stoked someone gets to play it. Apparently, they're setting up a course throughout UT campus in the stadium, on the baseball fields. Apparently, there's a throw that goes into the tennis complex.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just those 3 things are so far away from each other. I didn't want to know where this course is set up. Like, I'm very confused. Like, have you guys driven through campus? There's fucking people everywhere.
It's got to be
There's
a
people everywhere.
lot. Yeah. So I'm excited. I hope you guys should put a team together.
We'll
see what we can
we'll
do.
see if we can get a friend.
If somebody doesn't reach out,
I'm just kidding. I'm sure we can find one person if we have a third, right? We'll find one person.
We can find people.
Okay, so
I'll just play both.
what's that?
We'll just do different times.
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That's true. You can.
Yeah, I bet they would allow that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
It's not like it's rated. Or
Oh, you guys are gonna try to play 2 tournaments in the same tournament?
Oh, I thought the same thing. It's non-sanctioned.
unsanctioned.
Non-sanctioned, so it's fine.
Well done. Well played,
Done.
sir.
So well played. It was like the way that I'm sure someone looks at a Mike Tyson punch out, like, oh, I'm about to get knocked the fuck out. And they just see a slow motion coming, like, oh, yeah.
Yep. This is. Everybody got a plan until I punch him in the face.
And then you just a little mac. So it's Tuesday here. It's the second Tuesday of the month. And
Tuesday.
like every other Tuesday, we're here to talk about ratings update. Ratings update is your PDGA rating getting assessed from this last month's ratings.
Second Tuesday every month.
Added. We had a not controversial episode last week, but it was the episode I think more people talked to us about in the week in between an episode than any other episode ever, and it had to do with ratings. Some people did not necessarily agree with the whole tanking thing. Some people didn't know that 8088, like I said, was a rating, not a code. Some people didn't know how
Code, not a rating.
you go about reporting it. Before we talk about ratings, if you're a tournament director and you knew or you had a group that you were suspected of someone tanking on, how would you go about and how would you suggest other players go about resolving that issue?
So I've done this right and wrong in the past.
Oh, awesome.
I've
Very
heard
big of you.
Yeah, so I've heard from the people that were on one guy's card that he did tank, and I didn't do anything about it. And then I was actually on a card while I was TDing that the guy on our card on the very, very last hole was like, hey, man, I'm going to dip. I don't want this to go on my rating. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. That's fine. See ya. And then I didn't learn till the next year that, or like till the next tournament, that you can't
Not
do
supposed
that.
to do that.
No.
Yeah. Whoops.
And so at the last tournament, I actually had a like a good friend of mine, and he was keeping score on a card, and he dipped in the middle of the round so that it didn't go on his rating. No injury, no nothing. He just told me, I'm out of here. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not thinking much of it. But then at the end of the round, I had to go in and manually fix everything because he was keeping score, and he just stopped and drove off. And so I did have to. I think it's 999 is the bad one. But either way, whatever bad one it was, I always have to read it. I ended up putting that in for him, and we didn't talk to each other for like 3 weeks at least. And it was just awkward. It wasn't like he was mad. Like he had a bad day and let the anger out. We're like best friends now, so
That's good.
It's And I was actually after I listened to y'all's podcast about that, I talked to him. I was like, I hope that 5 points is not off your rating. He's like, no, that was 12 months ago. It's not on. It's not off there anymore.
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's awkward it can be very awkward for a TD. It can also be really easy for a TD if somebody's just a complete jerk about it, which he was not. But like if somebody else, I've had one other experience where they were a jerk about it, and I was like, oh, that's easy.
And you're out of here.
Yeah.
Could we play a quick thought experiment?
Yeah.
Okay. Freeberg and I just got done playing disc golf with 2 other people on a sanctioned round. We come back to the tent. The other 2 guys leave. We've all agreed on scores. Scores are in. We come back to the tent. The other 2 guys go. You say to one of us, "Hey, I'm just looking at your guys' score. Did Billy Johnson really shoot a plus 22?" What do we actually do there?
That's kind of the gray area for me. Like if
Same thing for a player. It feels kind of gross being like, yeah, he purposely, because I could I thought about this, like even hyperbole. I could just be like, yeah, I'm tanking, but really I'm desperately trying every single shot for it to go good, and it's just not happening that day.
Well, and I would talk to the card. Like at the tournament last year, a guy took a 12 on a hole, and he came up and approached me about it afterwards, and he was like, well, no, I disagree with your ruling on this one hole, and after that I just didn't, the round wasn't going to be good anyway, so I just tanked it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was at that point, this is where I did it wrong. I was so caught off guard because he had just gotten done arguing with me about a different hole's ruling for, like 30 minutes. And this was on my birthday. Everybody had sang happy birthday to me. I'm like standing there trying to get over to my birthday party. And he's standing there like yelling at me about this one hole. I'm like, oh man. Okay. So then I found out from his card mates that he had just like pitched up. And like, man, if that happens on my card, that's frustrating. Yeah. Like that's hard for a player. Yeah. It's hard for somebody to watch and just be okay with it.
I mean, it's awkward to watch and I know I've been the cause of this a few times where you throw like 5 times and they do poorly. Like even if they're trying, it's awkward, right? Yeah. It's like, oh man, I see, like, or if it's not me, I'm like, man, I would be melting down right now. Yeah. And so
I think just sell it. If you're going to do that, just sell it. I mean, like doink a putt off the band 5 times in a row and just say, man, I'm missing high every time. Like
I feel like it would not be hard for me to miss 5 putts in a row. Like I feel like I could sell that.
Go over, walk over.
You could just look into a crystal ball and watch one of my last tournaments.
It's when you start throwing the disc 100 feet down the fairway each time, not even 100 feet. Like
that kind of shit's a little.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the easiest thing to do, like you guys alluded to last time, is, oh, I've got hemorrhoids, or my back is twingy. Like nobody's gonna ask you to pull your pants down or like get an X-ray.
Yeah.
Like
well, I'll ask for my disc back if you have hemorrhoids.
Yes, that's true.
We've gone full circle one more time, folks. One more time.
This one's gonna stick.
He's very good at this.
I see people DNF all the time.
The hemorrhoids completion circle. What would you say is the lamest reason for a DNF and one that you would question as a TD?
I think it's usually back.
Back?
Like
that sounds like a 33-year-old saying that. So
no, right. It's the young guys.
Give it
right?
a decade, kid.
No. It's because it's the easiest to not see.
Yeah.
Like I had an instance one time where I threw, the only time I've ever DNF from a rated round, I tried to throw this big spike hyzer over a tree, and when I went up, I like separated ribs or something. Ugh. And I immediately like yell something out, crumple down. I'm crying. Like it hurts. It hurts. But then you get these guys like, oh man, my back hurts. I'm going to have to DNF. And I'm like, dude, like whatever. I get it. I don't believe in tanking. I think even if you're having a bad round, like it'll come off eventually. Yeah.
Not only will come off, but like one great round. Like the thing I think people, this is I try to do like a, actual like data analysis of it as to like decision making of why people would maybe take this mindset. And I think like most things, people take an expectation or how things they think it ought to be, and that is the definition of what it is, not knowing that like the line that's being created is actually taken from a bunch of data points that are below and a bunch of data points that are above. So just because you threw one down here doesn't mean that you won't.
Yeah.
And when this one happens, you never go, oh my God, I was so lucky. How fortunate was I to throw a very lucky round where all of my putts fell, no tree hits put me in the deep. That actually was just as luck-based as the one that's over here that you're cursing every tree and the wind and everything else for. Because the reality is really somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever shot 100 points over their rating and been like, "Oh man, that's too far away from my rating. I'm gonna DNF."
So that one Zilker round, I couldn't even tell you anything that happened on that one round. The one that's 990 something. I couldn't tell you a thing about, mostly because I was all Advilled up and had just been hit in the face. No part about that feels like it was a skillful round.
Well, and then you had oral surgery last week before.
Yeah,
right?
that I think that came into play the second round, and then the second day I went, I'm feeling fine, and I didn't take any Advil, and
it started to hurt
it not hurt. It's not hurt. There's no hurt. It's just like this, like it feels like someone's kind of just pressing, or it's like a little. It's not enough to make you play bad. It's just I think any time that you have just some other thing to think about other than what you're doing, you're not doing the thing well.
I legit thought about the on Sunday, just rolling up, punching you in the head, and being like, "Good luck today," because I feel like if you're slightly injured, you tend to play lights out.
Well, no, what I do is I can. This is, I don't know if this is a thing to say. I feel like sometimes I'm capable of hyper focus and just staying hyper focused on a thing. And then that hyper focus though is very contingent of like a clear mind and like a calm resolve of yourself, if you will. Like that hyper focus I don't think can happen. So you start to feel a little tired. You start to feel anything you start to feel that's not like what you'd call base. It feels sometimes impossible to regain that focus. And I think that's all that happens. I think it's some psychotic thing, maybe. I don't know. But like where it's just like life or death. I have to focus. Nothing else matters. Like you have to ignore the things. And then once you get done with one, you kind of relax because you've been in this state of hypertension the whole time of like trying to stay on that, like, and it never regains, it feels like. That's why I feel like I'm good for one round. Like we discussed before.
Here's a question for you guys. When you play tournaments, do you listen to music or do anything that refocuses you during the
So I do a couple little things. Before rounds, I always have some sort of meditation. I've been recently listening to this thing. So like either as I'm pulling up to the tournament or as soon as I get there, it's this like 12-minute guided meditation that basically just breath work, kind of gets your heart rate down, some affirmations. I'm actually going to make some for disc golf because I want to hear specific disc golf things. I don't want to just hear like, you're an athlete, you're the, like I want to hear chains dingling in the back. Anyway, but that helps me kind of get to zero. And then on the course in my headphones, I'll either have a lo-fi reggae beat, like this playlist where it's just basically something at a very good tempo, nothing too exciting, nothing too, or there's this, it's called Weightless Ambience. It's these 4 songs created by scientists that use different healing frequencies or frequencies that are known to reduce anxiety and stress. And they have created like 4 songs that are about 20 minutes long. And if you listen to all 4 of those, almost you get too relaxed. There's times where I feel like I've listened to it or I've had it in my ear too long. I'm like, I'm not even really paying attention to what's going on here. Like, what hold it? You sort of you almost disassociate because you're so like, so I try to find a balance between those things. If I'm feeling really nervous and anxious, maybe that 4-list playlist, but I've been trying not to use that as much. I've been trying to use that as like a parachute rather than just like the plane I'm flying in. I don't know. What about you, Freeberg? What's your?
Man, mine's not good. It's 2 cigarettes and Mountain Dew. And if
I had like the most awesome thing ever, the most New York thing ever.
And a lot of times it's the song that I get in my head. So like sometimes I'll get a song. There's a
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That was a third mention.
Yeah, no, there's we work.
That's gonna happen again. You said it 3 times.
Beetlejuice.
But yeah, so like a lot of times I have a really bad habit of getting the last song I heard stuck in my head. And my focus is not, I can't do headphones. Like if I do headphones, I sing and it annoys everybody. And I already dance too much, I think, because I'm moving around.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with dancing.
Part of that's the Mountain Dew, I think, is the burning the energy. But if I can get like a chill song, like I had Brick House in my head one day for a tournament at Seguin. And it was just like, it was almost like the apple pie thing. It was like, she's a brick in the bucket house.
Oh, that motivated.
And then
usually
I
when
was
say
just,
brick, it's
yeah, yeah, right. No, it was just like the timing of it. And then if it missed, it just made it funny.
Yeah.
Instead of aggravating. So it's a lot of that. Now, like when I was between the front 9 and the back 9, when I was melting down on Sunday, I actually sat down and I talked to Wagner for a minute. He's like, how you doing? I was like, real bad. It's like, breathe. And I kind of did a little bit of, I have a buddy who rewired breath, and I had just seen like an Instagram thing. And he's like, well, take a second, do the 3 breaths in, 1 breath out, and then just, I can't remember what the rest of it was, but in my mind, it was like, just carry on with your fucking life. Like, you play disc golf, you're throwing plastic. Don't be mad. Don't be bitter. Be better. And
There's so much of that mentality in the round.
Yeah.
That is, I think you just said a tenet that like is maybe a core tenet of, I don't say any focus sport, but like disc golf specifically, that like just because something bad just happened, that does not mean that the next thing that's going to happen is bad or worse or anything like that. And traversely, just because something very good just happened shouldn't mean that your expectation is that every other shot thereafter is going to be as good as that great shot that just happened. I noticed someone talk to me like that. I was not really in the hunt on Sunday, but like after the 4th hole, I took an eagle, he took a par, and I got the 2 strokes. Like it was like I had a fighting chance for a minute, and then Lights Out Logan just story's written. But a little beyond that, I had a shot go out of bounds, and someone goes, it's all right, man. Some days are just not. I was like, dude, I still believe in me.
Yeah.
I'm still believing in me. I'm still working on believing in me. I still think I can go birdie, 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 eagle, birdie, birdie. Please let me have that.
Yeah. You haven't rolled the credits yet? Come on now.
Yeah.
so on the flip side of that,
Yeah.
the pond hole 10 at Moody's, whatever side that's on.
Yeah.
I watched a guy take a 23 on that hole.
Oh, true 23?
Yeah.
Tin Cup it?
Yes. And I looked at him afterwards and I said, it's okay, buddy. There's next tournament. And this was the hot finals last year. And I was like, oh, man, I felt so bad for him. But he actually, outside of that, he would have been 2 over for the round. So he was 18 strokes worse on 1 hole. And I think he finished 20 over. And he did the same thing. He hopped back on the next hole, and he got maybe like a birdie or a par on the next hole.
He got a birdie.
Yeah,
I remember seeing his scorecard. He ended up getting a birdie on the next hole. I was like, that takes some resolve.
Right,
That's pretty cool.
That's
Absolutely.
something that
We got a lot of
hard
time to think about it on the hole before.
Yeah.
23 shot. Hey, just kidding. I'm kidding. That's awesome. This speaking of this hole 10,
Yeah.
4, what is it?
10.
It was 10. It's
10 is
it's
It's
on
the
far on mountain.
downhill,
It's
like
the one when
through
you
the
have to when you get done with estimated profit, and then you have to walk around the parking lot, and then you throw down over the fence.
not the
And there's
the par
trees.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you
Water
meant
on the
the
left.
No, that would be pretty bad on that hole.
yeah.
I would.
23 on that one makes a lot more sense.
I wouldn't
That's one
have
that
as
plays
much
along the
tap
cabin. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a guy on our card, shout out Steven, who also got second place and was able to par 18. Good job, buddy. He actually missed by about this much a birdie that would just give him second by himself. So really great round. Steven's a fucking savage forehander too, like incredible. Anyway, we get on that hole and he goes, I'm going to get a 3 on this hole. And we're all looking at each other like, who the fuck is this guy? And he had mistaken it for another hole. He's like, yeah, this is much different than. Yeah, we were all like barely getting 4s and 5s ahead. We were like, he's like, yeah, not the. I thought it was someplace else.
I was joking with him because on that same hole, you're talking about the par 5?
Yeah. With the cabin on the left.
Yeah. On that hole in the Huck'em Open this year, the first like big tournament I'm playing MPO, I get up and I throw my drive like 150 feet, and I'm playing with Tanner McCartney and Sam DiCarlo. And so these are guys I've like looked up to on Instagram and stuff like that. And so I get up there, I throw my drive like 150 feet. I'm like, oh my gosh. Next shot, I'm looking down on the fairway. I throw my destroyer every bit of 550. I got up to the pin that's 250 away from the basket, and I had a legitimate look at birdie. And so I'm like, I threw it, and I kind of released it, and I was like, and then Tanner's like, act like you belong here, and I was like, yeah,
I'll do that shit all the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was such a good shot.
That's an amazing welcome to MPO moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The T-pads out there apparently coming real soon.
What we hear. That was something that we can talk about next week. T-pad regulated sizes for T-pads.
Actually, I think I have a friend who wants to call in. My good friend Michael D'Onofrio has been working on a blueprint. I don't want to give too much away, but essentially something that could be standardized and implemented that, I don't know, might be too early to look at the actual design for legal reasons, but really exciting.
Sweet.
So he's done a lot of research. But did you guys want to talk about your ratings update before we got here?
We did the ratings update.
We set it up and we didn't talk about it. I don't necessarily care.
We all went up. Let's show everybody. Looks like Nate Dog creeping up on 950.
I only went up one. Yeah.
950. Let's go, Nate.
I think that might be tied for my highest rating ever. So I'm happy with it.
77 events, 13 wins, cash earnings, $275.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go.
got 91 of those at Flat Creek. So
how many MPO tournaments though? Like 6?
8.
Yeah, 8.
8.
So you can tell right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I played very well at Flat Creek recently, and I
crushed it.
Kind of think it should have been rated higher than what it got, but it's whatever. It was very windy that day.
Yoshi and I doubles went 18 back at Flat Creek.
Oh,
really good.
Over back in October or what?
The one that just happened.
The one that just happened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
there was like a mystery group that went 18 down last year, and I was like,
it's not us.
There's no way.
Yeah.
But the guy like didn't have a PDGA rating or anything, and they were playing MA.
Was his name Barella?
Yeah,
just kidding.
Banthony Arella.
Anthony Arella.
I go by BA.
But yeah. No.
Did you see Gannon Burr's way he viewed the eclipse?
Oh, with the disc.
He used a disc as like his eclipse glasses. And you could just look through the disc and you could see the eclipse. It was it's for we're gonna get a half dozen before we get out of here. Just kidding.
Next rating, Rigdon.
Who else we got? Rigdon.
Yes.
Let's go, Rigdon.
I went
+2.
+2.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm still not playing very well, but that's okay. I went up 2. I don't feel like I deserved it. I think that some old ratings dropped off.
Are you still putting well though?
No.
Oh my God.
That's
when we played Live Oak with him, his putter didn't hit the ground.
I'm so streaky with putting.
Just like when he's locked in, he doesn't do anything different either. It's the funny part.
Gotcha.
I feel like Rigdon. We actually talked about this behind your back, Rigdon. That your
potential is more
right
than
there.
The rest of ours.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I have a lot of potential, knowing how poorly I putted in this last tournament and how I played like slightly below my rating and felt like I was the worst putter in the world. And if I could just turn that around, I could definitely improve a lot.
We played that round at Live Oak, and the putter never hit the ground.
Not once.
I guarantee I could go find the tournament. It was a Fuego Friday, and you guys played earlier in the day. Correct?
Yeah, we played before Nick.
Yeah.
It was intimidating to go start.
Yeah.
You played well that day too, though. Yeah.
And then, but it was like the next week when we did the Roy G one, where it felt like the putter was cursed. Like it just it was weak to metal or something.
Is that the one when you wrote the wrong name on the back?
Yeah, I wrote the wrong name. It's just a mental thing.
Yeah.
When I played at Zilker, I played like a rated round, couldn't make a putt, and then as soon as we were done, played a couple more holes, and was just birdie, 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 like from 30 feet was just effortless.
You did it at League. We played League, and then we squelched like 4 holes afterwards, and you were the best player.
I'm just super in my head. Like lately, I've been telling myself when I go up to putt, I'm like, you're not going to make this. You don't know how to putt, and I just need to find a way to turn. I got to find a way to turn that around.
2 cigarettes and a Mountain Dew.
I don't know if that's going to help. I really don't know.
Don't
I will say
you
you talk to yourself more than you talk to anyone else. Make sure you talk nice.
Man, thank you. Anyway, Daniel Freeberg.
Anyway, you hippie fuck. On to Freeberg. Woo! 4 up, Freeberg. Let's go, dude.
4 up. Working my way towards that
events.
900. Yeah, I've been playing a lot the past couple of years. And I didn't have any just garbage rounds that I had to bury this time this time around. So I had some that weren't as good as I wanted to. I had those 2 930s.
But you were playing consistently above your rating this month. Yeah.
I had those 2 930s during USW GDC, and I had some garbage drop off. I did have a couple of like just barely or right at my ratings, or the one on Sunday was like 860, which is a little bit below. So but if I can move up 4 points a month for the next 6 months, I'll be super happy.
I think everyone would take that. 4 points a month. F yeah.
But
what I get 2?
4 points
3?
Is
my add-on for Chrome said I was only getting 3 points.
Oh. You got an extra. They gave you an extra point for that pitcher. That
not good. Aliens over the city.
I saw that picture, and it made my day.
Did you recently change that?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw it.
I saw it. It was like a picture someone took of me on the first league playing Zilker, and I could tell that the disc could not have possibly flown very far the way that my body was positioned. I was like, I know too much now to know that that's like, the picture could be pretty, but anyone who knows disc golf knows that throw sucked. I thought funny was the way to go.
94 on the Global Masters rank.
Yeah.
So do you know how Global Masters works?
Not at all.
It's your 8 best scores of the year. So it doesn't matter how many you played. They just take your 8 best scores. If you click on it, it'll kind of show you. See, it's like top 8 rounds.
Lola's ready.
So it just takes your 8 best rounds of the year.
Gotcha.
And that's how you're still a decade from being global.
Yeah, you're not,
7 years.
Where am I at on that? Can you go back?
I think I saw you were
245.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're 150 points better than me.
Ranks, but it's just but what it does is take your top 4 rounds. Those are all. I mean, I think my lowest round's 926 on my top 8.
Yeah.
So like your top 4 are all.
So what is
same.
the top guy sitting at?
Oh, it's impressive.
It's got to be somebody really good. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Landon
Williams.
Wow, no kidding, Landon. Well done.
Wow. Okay.
Local player, Landon Williams. We've all played a few rounds with him. I was with him on that. I think not the Roy G one. I was with him at the USWGC, the round 1, the Fuego Friday Flex Start at OSP. And he was crushing that. He was doing really well.
Hey, Landon Williams, go play MP40. Let us play MA40. Just kidding. He's so good.
Yeah, is he playing MA2 still? Or he's playing MA40?
I've seen him in almost always MA40 now.
Okay. Well, he was playing MA2 for a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was
MA1,
kicking our ass in there,
MA2.
too, yeah. Basically, he just shows up to his new division, and he kicks ass, yeah. Shout out to Mint Disc buying cowboy hats for the trophies. Lola, come here. It's okay.
Oh, so those guys
they got they got to keep all those cowboy hats, and they gave him a mint pin with it too.
Cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, that's a cool trophy.
Pretty dope. That was a great. I think they posted a picture. The Kitchens did.
I saw Logan's. Yeah,
Logan's cowboy hat is pretty cool.
Yeah, I commented underneath the photo, "Lights Out Logan" for the win.
That's a great nickname.
I mean,
that is a really good one.
He should definitely just feeding my dog boogers on air. No big deal. She likes them. She likes them. If I don't give them to her, if I don't give her eye boogers, she's pissed.
It was her own eye booger. It wasn't like he dug out a nose nugget for her.
Oh, she'll eat mine too. I'm kidding. That's disgusting. I would never do that. It's actually really gross just thinking I just did that on air. Maybe we put a little blurry thing right there.
Yeah, we'll censor it.
It's peanut butter or something.
It chilled her out. She's like, okay, I'm good now.
That's probably all it was. She was annoyed that she had an eye booger.
Yeah, eye booger, Dad.
Sometimes she comes over and she does this like really aggressive.
She was tapping my foot. She came over and was like,
that's
tapping
definitely what
my
it was
foot.
then. When she had
Fix my eye burger, Nate.
such a princess, right?
I love it.
If she had those buttons, it would just be like, "Give me food now, bitch! Give me food now, bitch!" And she'd be good at it. She'd get down to a beat. So what do? We did all the stuff on the board. We had a disc golf podcast. We talked about stuff. We fed boogers to dogs. I think we did it, boys.
Yeah, we did it.
I think we get it on here.
Thanks so much for coming out,
Absolutely.
Nate. We'd love to have you again sometime.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we're kidding. No, let's not. Hey, so how about we do this? How about you're playing in the Q Series event, right? Coming up.
I will if you tell me what it is.
The Capital Texas Open is the Q Series event.
Oh.
Is that right?
Capital Texas Open.
I have state Special Olympics games that week.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Completely
Unfortunately,
understand.
I miss it every year for that, and I'm like, whatever.
Completely
It's a
understand.
good reason.
That's an excellent reason because you'll feel better about yourself, right?
Yeah, right.
Shout out Scott Stokely. So if you made it this far in the podcast and you heard that joke, zingers! Guess you had to be there. Should we just insert that clip at the end? Kidding. Link
so much
below
stuff we're
in the bio. I was thinking maybe we check back in at the end of the summer, maybe in 3 or 4 months after you've had like a handful of because we got some big tournaments coming.
Yeah,
I'll
play a lot during the summer because being a teacher, I get the summers off.
Yeah.
So I play a lot during the summer.
What's your next big one coming up?
Next big one coming up is probably going to be the No ATX, and then the Nacogdoches Open is the week after that.
Nice.
So I'm going to plan to play at least one of those, if not both of those.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd love to keep seeing the progress. It's fun checking in, but it's really fun hearing like just the story that you came in and your first round was so high and you're like, I'm just going to stick it on MA1. I have to think that kind of like led to a faster progression or at least a standardization of playing good disc golf with good players all the time.
I tell everybody the same thing. You push yourself. Like, I got called a bagger last year, and
In MA1?
yeah, in MA1,
Tough to do the bag
and
in
joking.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I don't ever want to be called that or whatever. But I've just started playing with people that are better than me or people that will challenge me. And I also really enjoy getting out in casual rounds and playing with people who are, and even rated rounds. Like we had a lady on our card that we played with at Benbrook, and I thoroughly enjoy playing with everybody, but you really do challenge yourself when you start playing with higher competition. And I always encourage everybody, play up. Like, if you are thinking about whether you should play up or not, play up. It's a lot better.
I enjoyed playing that Benbrook round with him when we played it, because it was also, he makes those that I can't make. There was one par 4 where I take my 2 shots to try to get down the alley and then turn in to it's never going to be a 3 for me. And he comes in and throws one over the top of the world and drops it down to what should have been an eagle.
Oh.
Yeah, he clanked a 15-foot
Almost
putt.
aced it.
What a loser.
Almost didn't clank to 15.
You missed that putt. What a complete loser. Are you even good at disc golf? You missed that putt.
But-
I'm kidding. That's awesome.
but it
I
was
think I know
cool
what
to
you're talking
see.
about. They just put in the drains.
Yeah.
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 We played from that short tee too. So.
That's still,
He's like, we're the short tee. I'm going over the top. It's like, whoa.
what, 440?
What?
No, I don't think it's that far.
That's
Maybe.
farther than I can throw.
I tried it the other day and I haven't played in a while, and I was like 60 short, so it's probably 440.
Do you ever notice that your max range varies?
It varies on whether I've stretched or not. Part of my classroom routine every day is stretching, and so if I have a class and then I go play in the afternoon, I'm stretched, and if I don't, I know, because I'm not throwing far enough.
That's another thing that I forgot to say as part of my routine is I do my little yoga stretches. Do the
Stretching
twists.
is
I couldn't agree more. I totally left it out too, but there are a handful of stretchers in the arms and upper body, big, but getting the lower body is more important to me than upper body, because the upper body will, the upper body will warm up. Yeah. The one that I just added that I do before I leave, the missus got this little inflatable ball, and you put it on the wall, and you just draw the entire alphabet with the ball, and it activates your shoulder. And I've noticed a huge difference in my shoulder it went from being kind of sore every time I play disc golf to it's not sore anymore. Like it's, and
that's awesome.
No weight, no difference. Like it's just a little fucking inflatable ball, like essentially a shitty little beach ball, but it has like some fucking sports brand on the side. Like,
so you paid $30.
Yeah. Exactly. But little things like that, I've noticed. Do you have any, and I know we just tried to wrap it up, but let's wrap up on this. Do you have any exercises or stretches that you would suggest for disc golfers that isn't throwing a disc?
I say just stretch your legs. Your legs you use 100% of the time when you're out playing disc golf.
Yeah.
You use your arms for the throws. You use your core for the throws. Say focus on your hamstrings, your quads. I do this one with my class called a kick stretch, where you put one foot forward and you're essentially stretching your quad. You pull the other leg back, and just I've really legs. If you get the legs, it's just like throwing in a disc. If you engage your legs, the rest of it comes really easy. Yeah. So start with the legs, go heavy on the legs, and then just some. I don't know. I don't really stretch a ton. I just kind of get loose. So
sweet. Yeah. Sweet. Well, thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for those of you watching and listening. And thank you to Rigdon for keeping us smart and being cool always. And the rest of you, remember, watch out for those iron leaves and just be cool.
Later.
Time, weather, and